Hi, folks. This is Roy Nalapeda from Glance Inc. We help contacts convert into customers through smart segments. I have here with me Jasper Benson-Sulzer from Kixie. He's a content marketing manager, and I have my colleague Zoe Ramsey. Jasper?
Hi. Hi, Roy. I'm a content marketing manager here at Kixie. Happy to be chatting with you today.
So, Jasper, let me jump on, right? The whole goal of this call is we're always talking about SaaS, product-led growth, content marketing, and the impact of that into SaaS. These are all important aspects of SaaS growth for us. Let me start off by saying, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about Kixie, what you do, and how did you come to this content role, marketing manager role?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely had kind of a non-traditional trajectory here at Kixie. I joined here about 2.5 years ago as a sales rep. Sorry, getting a spam call. So I joined here 2.5 years ago as a sales rep, and then transitioned from sales into customer success to learn more about the product as kind of a stepping stone into marketing. When I joined, we had no marketing department. And then while I was a customer success specialist, we brought on our director of marketing. And then I was transitioned over into content marketing under him. So I was the second person on our marketing team here. And now we've grown from 12 when I joined to about 50 or so employees. Been in 3 different offices, and now our marketing team is 5 people strong. Things are really starting to kick off. So as far as marketing goes, I've kind of been a jack of all trades for a while now. Not really strictly just content marketing. That's been my main focus, but it's also been kind of whatever comes up, whether it's events or videography or you name it. Yeah.
Got it. Tell us a little bit about what Kixie does so that we understand what the product is about. And your journey is very interesting, that you started as a in the sales, customer support, and then into the marketing. So tell us a little bit about Kixie itself.
Yeah, so Kixie is a calling and texting platform for sales teams. We integrate with sales teams' CRMs so that all of your calls, text messages, notes from your calls, call recordings, all that stuff is automatically logged on the appropriate contact or deal pages inside of your CRM. We have one-click integration with leading CRMs, but also can create custom integrations with practically any custom or any other CRM that's maybe not one of your top CRMs through webhooks and API. Then we also have a bunch of other really cool advanced sales calling features like voicemail drop, SMS templates, local presence dialing. And then on the other kind of customer facing sides, so your customer support side, we have a full-fledged phone system for contact centers. So we've got IVRs, press 1 for sales, press 2 for support. We've got ring groups, inbound call queues, all of those advanced inbound features as well.
Very cool. Very cool. Thanks for that. Now that you're doing this content marketing manager, what does a content in a SaaS have as goals? What are some of the goals that you deal with, right? What are the typical goals that you create content with?
Yeah, so we have a few different goals for our content. When it comes to our blog and our website and video content as well, of course, our primary goal is to be informative. We really want to help our customers and even people who aren't our customers understand how to improve their sales processes. We've got loads of articles just on how to improve team performance or read analytics to get more out of your team. And then, another goal, of course, is SEO, boost SEO rankings and help it be easier for people to find us online. And also just to connect with customers kind of where they're at and bring them up to speed. Maybe, if they're still using spreadsheets or even pen and paper in some cases, inform them not just on the product offerings that we have, but also on what else is out there. So, CRMs and call analytics software, conversation intelligence, that sort of thing as well.
So what you're saying is you have SEO goals, you have educational goals, which is also educating the customer about the product and stuff. So you have different types of goals and different KPIs by which you see this. So, okay, let me ask you this question, and I think Zoe wants to ask you a few questions. So let me ask you this question. I'm asking the question, how do you see content marketing help SaaS acquisition effort? Is it limited only to acquisition? I think some of the answers maybe you gave already, but just in specifically, how are you seeing this?
Yeah, so content, it really touches pretty much every part of the customer facing journey. So we've got our content on our review sites like G2 and Capterra, that sort of thing, where we want to make sure our profiles are up to date and informing what our current feature offerings are, and also engaging with customers on those platforms as well as on social media. We've been keeping an active LinkedIn presence as well as Twitter and Facebook, with some plans to expand to other social networks as well. So yeah, really just engage with customers, potential customers, and community.
Sorry, I was going to say, is it only top of the funnel? It's like drive attention to the leads is the top of the funnel conversion that you're definitely looking at for content.
Yeah, definitely that, but also really every stage of the funnel as well, because we go from there to sales enablement materials. So different kind of comparison battle cards with competitors, or just for internal use, or maybe one pagers to send out to customers in PDF form. And then at the kind of last stage of the funnel, we have a very comprehensive support center that has articles on everything from just how to get started with Kixie to how to create advanced automations or set up custom integrations through API and webhooks. So yeah, it touches all stages, definitely.
Got you. Zoe, I know you wanted to ask some questions. Over to you.
Yes. So kind of steering a little bit away from the content stuff. So after looking over the Kixie website, I saw that you guys do offer a 7-day free trial for your customers, but you don't adopt what's known as the freemium model. And we know that customers are often attracted to freemium because they get some options, obviously, for free. So is there any reason that Kixie hasn't adopted that, or that you feel it doesn't quite work for Kixie?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've kind of always had this same model since when I joined. So I can't say I was really involved in that decision per se, but I think the freemium model works really well for B2C, but in B2B situations, it's usually not adopted. It's not something I see most of our competitors, most other companies in this space having, HubSpot being one big exception that I can think of off the top of my head. But I think the biggest reason is we want to offer really personalized experience for our customers, and we want to be able to give every customer the attention that they need, all the way from sales to offering demos and help getting set up, to our customer service team, doing one-on-one trainings, as well as troubleshooting and over live Zoom calls and whatnot. So if we were to have a freemium model, it would be really hard to do that with those customers at scale if that became a large part of our customer base. And so I think that's probably the biggest reason, is we just wouldn't be able to offer that high quality level of service that we want to be able to offer to everyone.
To summarize, what I would say is, you say, hey, I can't give half attention. I want my customers to have the full experience and the full attention, and I can do it through a free trial of the full product rather than somewhat of a half product, is what he's saying, right? That's what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Zoe, please go on.
Yes. So then kind of going again, you do the content work. So and we touched on it a little bit, but what do you find is the best content that works for Kixie when you're creating it? And is all content in that sense made equally? So does everything does everything work the way that you think it should, or kind of what works best, I guess is the question.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends what the goal is too. In terms of just pure SEO and kind of bringing people to the site, it's typically stuff that's maybe not directly related to our product. It's kind of funny. One of our most popular blog posts is a blog post of like best sales memes of 2021 or something like that. And that gets searched a lot, and people will take those memes and repost them elsewhere. And so that's maybe good for top of funnel or just name recognition, but it's not going to help customers understand who we are or what we do. A big for that function, helping customers know who we are, what we do, and what we can offer them. Our website has been a big focus over the past 6 to 9 months, I'd say. We completely revamped our website with a new design, new copy, and I wrote most of the copy, oversaw all that copy on the website, and that was really I like to think at least a big step up from where we were before, in terms of really going into more detail of what our product has to offer, and avoid any kind of vagueness or anything that could be, leave the customer asking a lot of questions. And then of course, the basic website is not going to have everything. So then for that more in-depth purpose, if our goal is to really give a deep understanding, that's where those support articles come in, as well as demo videos and training videos on various subjects. Because once you really sink your teeth into it, there's a lot to learn about Kixie and about our various integrations.
Yeah. So kind of with it sounds like, a lot of your content goes into depth and gives those potential customers that kind of really deep overview of what you need to do. So is there any way, do you think, that your content helps motivate people to buy the product more than just that going in depth, or kind of connecting through things like memes and that sort of thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the biggest one is probably actually social proof. So ironically, not content that we're necessarily writing ourselves, but case studies. Actually, right before this call, I was editing a video interview that we did with one of our customers into kind of a customer testimonial that will also be a case study. And just finding excerpts from various reviews and other testimonials to place on our website. So I think for B2B SaaS in particular, social proof is really important. People want to see that other companies are enjoying the product and getting value out of it. So I think I had to pick one, that would be it, the social proof.
Yes, that's interesting because it makes sense. But
Mhm.
so the next one is kind of what, and this is kind of for me too. So I'm learning the process of doing marketing and that kind of thing. So what have you found is the best way to increase traffic to your content, whether that be blog or social kind of content? And kind of where do you draw that inspiration from to create and build the traffic?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones is social media, and also separate from that, collaboration. Not completely separate, because we'll engage with other kind of peer companies on social media, but also across our websites. Doing or newsletter features we've had with. I'll take Quick Mail, for example. They're an email SaaS service, and so they kind of do a similar thing to us, but with email. So we don't really have overlap, but we're in the same space overall, and so kind of outreach to those companies, talking to the right people at those companies, and building relationships, and that way, we can share what they have to offer with our customers, and vice versa.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, talking to people always drives that traffic to get them to be where you would like them. So then going back again to when you're creating that content, is there a certain framework that you use to help you create and that kind of guides you through? Obviously, nothing's ever going to be the same, but do you have a basic structure that you kind of use to find what you need to write about?
Yeah, so for our blog posts, I would say it's the main thing we think of is what would be helpful for people right now, and that changes with current events and industry news and stuff like that. I think we recently put out a blog post on kind of how to help your sales through a economic downturn, that kind of being on the news right now, and also more comprehensive things like a glossary of sales terms, or different titles. We recently put out, like, there's a billion different acronyms for sales titles and customer service titles, and it can be really confusing to someone who's just getting started in the industry, or even someone who's just been working at one company for a long time and they have BDRs, but they look at another company, they have SDRs. Well, what's the difference? Is there a difference? So
It's a good one.
For those kind of posts, it's really what's going to help our customers, and also just people in the industry at large.
The most popular one being account executive too.
Yeah,
It could mean anything. That's what I've seen.
it really can. Yeah.
So it does sound like you're really inspired about the things happening around you, and that makes sense because we always want to kind of target what's on the forefront of our customers' minds, whether that be kind of pop culture, or obviously big things like the economic downturn. It seems like that's always the best way to get people interested because they always want to read about it. So then kind of this last question here I have, do you have any marketing idols that kind of help you influence your work, and why is it, if they do, like, what is it about them that influences you?
Yeah, one of my biggest ones, and actually my boss turned me on to her, is Emma Stratton. She's got a great newsletter about content writing. She runs a content company called Punchy, and she has a constant stream of excellent tips and advice on how to really make your content both punchy and engaging, but also relevant and truthful, and actually explain, rather than throwing out various buzzwords or the vagaries that might make a customer or potential customer not very engaged with what you're doing.
Super. Thank you for that recommendation. Yeah, I like punchy. I keep telling Zoe that we got to write punchy content. So she knows what I'm talking about all the time.
Yeah.
Jason, thank you so much for this interview and kind of giving the insights, just going over some of the insights that just for the summary, right? The one thing that you specifically told me is there are different stages of funnel and different stages of content. While you use it to acquire the traffic, you also use it through educate and do this education throughout the life cycle of the customer. Second thing I take away from this was the social proof part of it for B2B SaaS. You think content which shows more of social proof is quite telling and how customers get attracted to B2B SaaS. That's another takeaway that I have. And I do know that the current trends and the sales memes and tips of those kind of content actually motivates people to look at it. So I think these three were some very good. The biggest one I took away was why free trial versus why freemium. You said, I want to get full attention to a customer and have him experience the fullest of the product. So I think those were some very good takeaways. Thank you, guys. Please check out Kixie if you have sales needs and how all the log meetings and get the notes all in one place. If you want to convert more of your contacts into customer through growth marketing, check out Glance. Thank you for the time. This is Roy and Zoe from Glance, and thank you, Jasper, again.
Thanks for having me.